What a day. We had well, first of all, there's no wind today.
There's no wind, guys. We're wind free.
It's our first recording with no wind. So
we brought blankets and everything to keep us warm, and I don't think we'll need them.
Unless you stay till later. It's funny, we watched the video back the last time and we thought
pitch black
we thought it was really, really dark, but the camera managed to pick up the light quite well. I mean, I think when you watch when it goes to still at the very end, you can see that it's
pretty dark.
It's pretty dark, but
great.
We might well record a little bit longer. We don't know. It depends on how we go.
See the vibe.
So yeah, so today.
Today was a strange day, and it's really odd because we've never met anybody here before, and then we were just about to press record, and we, not that we mind, obviously, it's a free country.
So far.
Hopefully, yeah. And then there was a man with his dog, and coming towards this way, and there was this tiny little thing, like a 3-year-old, max 4-year-old, kind of jogging behind, because obviously little legs walk so much slower, and he was walking quite fast, with a beautiful golden retriever, wasn't it? Beautiful,
nice dog.
Gorgeous doggy. And so we were kind of like, all right, we won't press record until they've gone past. And then I don't think they saw us, but then just there,
Do you see what he said?
the little girl fell down and she did this yelp. So of course we kind of went, oh my God, is she okay? And the dad stopped for a split, not even...
He didn't know we were here.
No, of course didn't know we were here. Didn't even nearly skip a beat and just shouted at her, don't you know how to walk? Aren't you able to walk? And then he said a swear word and didn't comfort her.
And continued to walk.
And
continued to walk with the distance between him and her. So this is kind of what we're talking about.
And we're living in the countryside, and he was a well-dressed man. Not that clothes make a difference, but
he's not like hard up. He doesn't have a.
He doesn't look like he has a really, 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 really
hard life from a point of view of.
But of course that's all. Obviously, he has had a tough life, or he has had a bad day because she was. So it's really odd that happened, because today was a bit of and that's what we kind of want to do with these videos is share all the bumps in the road, rather than being all like, which some people do. They're a bit preachy, and they're a bit a lot of people try and keep themselves above everyone else, and that's something I've really not liked all my life, maybe because so many people have done it to me. I know what it feels like. That it's not nice when you push people down to make yourself feel bigger than you are, or something like that, or more. Anyway, so we're not going to do that. We're going to, as we said, we're going to show all the warts and all of the.
Still comb the hair.
We will try and make a little bit of an effort.
We'll put on some clothes. Change my top today.
Different clothes.
Yeah.
We're going for a kind of light vibe, light energy vibe. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So today we fell into a little bit of a hole of energy.
It's been a while, so we're a little bit out of practice.
I think I'll pour some tea for this.
Yes.
Some nice rooibos tea. I don't know if you guys know rooibos, but it's the best tea ever. It's actually great for kids as well. It's grown in South Africa, as far as I know, in the Cederberg Mountains or something.
Cederberg Mountains, yeah.
And apparently some of the local tribe guys have been using it for colic for kids.
Or even stomach aches.
And stomach aches, and it helps you wake up in the morning, helps you fall asleep at night, it's caffeine free, you don't need to put milk and sugar in it.
No, a bit
it's
lemon
nice cold. It's pretty good. So just before we launch into the...
Yeah.
Just want to notice the camera of our lovely vintage mugs, and look. Does anyone tell what's missing on that mug? On Jer's mug, shall we say?
Compare and contrast. This is Francesca's one.
Yes, it's my beautiful mug. And so what's missing?
Yeah, I lost the handle, which is very, very, very symbolic, because I lost the handle of myself a little bit today.
That's so weird.
basically when we came back the last day, I picked up the bag that was holding it, and it just fell to the ground, and luckily just the handle broke. It wasn't just the whole lot, because
cheers anyway.
quite fond of these. Cheers.
Anyway, that was supposed to happen so we can joke about it.
Yeah. So today my biggest Achilles heel, I think maybe all my life, but definitely
since you met me.
Since I met Francesca, I used to be quite flush. You know, I had a good job and
for a young guy,
plenty of money and all that kind of stuff. And ever since we've been together,
you've been poor as a church mouse.
A little bit, yeah. And I don't know. Today,
what's the word that the poshies call us?
Povos.
Povos.
Yeah.
Povos. We're in povos.
Yeah. So basically, I'm not supposed to say basically, am I?
Let's cut it down to you're allowed 2 or 3 per session.
All right. I opened the door to the tiger, basically, and
the tiger we were talking about in the last, we'll say session, even though we're going to cut these up into little bite-sized things. But
bits.
The last session when we were talking all about the tiger and how you're not supposed to check that the door is closed.
I checked, and it wasn't pretty. So
I got a right old mauling of a tiger.
A good mauling now, and then my mauling caused me to. I thought it was fairly reasonable to fight with my best friend.
To maul me.
So it was just the old favourite of money or lack thereof. So Francesca was thinking, we'll do this or whatever, do that, and I'm like, oh, I can't because. And then she's like, what about the
Do you know what I was actually? We'll actually be honest.
Yeah, of course, be honest.
What it was is, I was kind of feeling with the channel that it'd be nice to have a kind of light-coloured vibe, and it's not quite warm enough yet to. And also, we like wearing kind of really kind of vintage clothes, but not like we go to expensive vintage
No,
shops.
of course not.
It's just, we've gone into that second-hand vibe, and then you kind of go, actually, it's really cool.
It's like a really growing area. Like apparently, I've heard from somebody who's in the business that in the next 10 years, it's actually going to become like it's like the fastest growing thing in the clothes industry is basically vintage clothing, because they're one-off pieces and they're all really good quality. They're really good.
Well, if they've lasted 20, 30 or 40 years, then, 'cause sometimes you buy stuff and then you wash it after 3 or 4 washes, it's just terrible. It's all misshaped and bobbly and not nice.
Yeah.
But then, older stuff just lasts. And as you said, it's one-off.
It's good. It's good. It's just really good quality. The quality is all I care about, and it's just good quality clothes. And I know some people have a kind of about that, and even here there's a bit of a puzzo sotto nasa.
Yeah, but even though as we're speaking this, it's so funny because the top that Joe is wearing, my mum actually gave that to him for Christmas about 7 years ago, and he never wore it because he was like,
With the tag on it today.
Oh, it's a bit light coloured, and then also Joe is a magnet. That's why there's no food allowed on set, because he's a bit of a magnet. If it's something light coloured. If he's wearing black or brown or navy, it's clean. Nothing ever falls upon it. Yeah. So anyway, so that was worn, debuted. So this is new. So as we're talking about retro.
Yeah, that's actually funny. This is actually new.
I think it's the only new piece of clothing you've had.
That survived actually. That survived because we pulled.
Years.
Francesca basically went through the whole wardrobe while I was scratching a few notes for today, and we found this. So we're going to take a trip to the second-hand place next week.
I said, we have a few little haunts, and no one really goes there. We're very lucky. It's us and really just kind of immigrants, which is nice. They're really nice people. You get to meet some really interesting characters, and you don't have to spend very much. Like, you can get things for very cheap, very, very cheap. But you don't know what you could get. Like, you could go there and spend money on petrol, and you don't know what you could find. You could get nothing, or you could come out with a bag for very little money.
And then you're also cutting the carbon footprint on the clothes, obviously, because they're getting a second use. They're not going to a landfill.
It's also giving them a second life, and I feel that.
Yeah. And you can pass them down again.
Yeah, of course, and you can.
And obviously you're giving money to charity, so
yes.
there's it's pretty much a win-win.
It's a win-win, and
you got really good quality clothes, like really good, like that were super, like way overpriced in terms of their material value when they were sold. And now you're just like, yeah, this is not this, obviously, because I can't. It's the one thing I can't point to that, but.
No, but it's interesting because what I like about
under here, like this stuff, some of this stuff,
second-hand clothes, is that you don't know who bought them and when, and you can obviously you can kind of get to know roughly the era, the decade, but you don't know, and it's really nice to imagine. I obviously imagine very romantically the different people that wore them in the 80s or the 70s, and what kind of. I've got some 60s stuff.
Even if you're like,
a cardigan.
Sorry, cutting across you. No. When you find out that, like, you're pregnant with a baby coming, think about how often the baby wears the outfit before they grow out of it. So you get like these absolutely perfect girls or boys' clothes, super cute.
Yeah.
And they would have been like whatever price at the time, and now
People
it's like
kind of weird with
just buy a big bag for them.
Yeah,
because they think they're dirty or something. But I mean, when you wash your clothes,
gone into this kind of snobby thing of like, like I know some people who I was like, come on, we'll go together. It'd be really fun, and they were like, and these are really nice girls, And they were like, oh my god, I could never do that. And I'm like, I'm not buying underwear and socks. Like that would be pretty.
Obviously, or
Jay's anti-shoes, whereas sometimes
because that's something
we're not buying trainers or something.
You don't actually clean your shoes.
If it's leather, some nice leather.
Yeah, that hasn't hardly been worn. It's up to the individual. I wouldn't, because I just think there's no need. Like you afford to get. I'm not very hard wearing on shoes anyway, because we don't
buy many shoes because
the seasons change here quite dramatically. So you only wear your shoes in the winter, spring. And then you have to wear sandals in the summer, so it's like you get a whole lot of wear out of. I've had shoes for years. I have the same 3 or 4 pairs for like, I don't know what, really. A long time.
I know, but I do need to get a new. Doesn't matter. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's what happened. So, and we were basically in this kind of.
So I was just kind of like going, oh my god, we really, we don't want to look like the povos wearing the same clothes all the time.
We've made it clear that we are the povos, so I don't think that's really an issue. No, we want to look fairly, did you not kind of going, ugh? Like
people, they seem nice, but really they're just so disgusting to look at.
I mean, maybe we should just put them aside, listen to them.
Let's have the podcast, yes.
Yeah, so listen to them, yeah.
Joe and Francesca podcast. So then I said, hey, let's, because we're kind of doing these on, we're trying to do them twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays. So today's Wednesday, so I thought, well, before next Monday, and there's one place that's only open on Friday mornings, and anyway, we had to find out about this other place, and then Jay kind of went.
So basically the physical signs that.
So what happened? Talk it through us, Jay, please.
Yeah, so straight away.
What physical signs did you feel that you were, espousing the other day?
Straight away, you get like a tightness in your chest, kind of a choking feeling in your throat, a kind of flush, maybe gritted teeth. I wasn't looking in the mirror. And fists clenched maybe, and just because there had been a few things in a row. It didn't just come out of the blue, obviously. It was a few things in a row.
Well, obviously everybody's bills have our bills have gone from I'm not even going to talk numbers.
Please,
because we just really just have candles, and we
have a tiny house.
We have a tiny house, and we have a tiny bill, and it just quadrupled, nearly tripled anyway. And it's like, okay, like what?
We're not going to discuss.
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
That horrible situation. That's being.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So then basically how I became conscious of it, well, luckily Francesca was more aware in the moment than I was. What are you doing?
I was just counting. Is that 2 or 3 basically? Don't swear, go on.
I just forget it. I'm sorry, I've got a sickness with the word basically. And
it's a sickness with you.
And I just said it there now again. So yeah, with that word I have a sickness with it. So
yeah, that's something I'd like in the comments if anybody would be doing that. That would be really interesting to see.
What?
Just to do like a little poll, a little graph on how if it ends up getting worse. Or
I just like that word. I like that word. I think it's.
Okay, doesn't matter. All right, go on.
Anyway. So so then just I kind of felt, it became obviously because we've been doing this for a while. I became aware of, okay, I'm not feeling right, and obviously I've upset Francesca. So I went outside into the sun and just kind of sat there for a second, and just kind of like felt my body's energy, and just kind of went, okay, this isn't right. I mean, I've got like all this kind of adrenaline and stuff, because I was in a kind of a fight or flight mode, kind of, thinking that, the chicken licking that the sky is going to fall down. And it never has. So I just because we'd had this talk and so on the last few days, I was like, okay, the physical signs are there, and the mental signs of actually thinking. What snapped me out of it, I suppose, is my lovely wife came over, obviously, and immediately I was like, with the hand on her back and stuff, and it was like warmth. There's some warmth over here. I was in the freezing cold, and there was nice snuggly warmth, like a puppy under a lamp, and I just said I just don't want to hurt her like anymore. And also it kind of came, like, let's say intellectually, it came into my head, well, this isn't happening now.
That was the big thing. It's like, hold on, let's put on the brakes. What's actually going on right now?
Yeah, and it's like the birds were singing, the sun was out, but it wasn't too hot of a sun. It was lovely, and I could see the beautiful snow-covered mountains literally encircling me where I was sitting. The garden's a bit of a state. We need to fix that up. That'll be good for the videos, the projects that we have to do. But it's just, again, and then of course I kind of like, well, you can't be fair weather supporter of the life, and you can't not practice what you preach.
We'll totally go with the flow of life when the flow's going where we want it to go.
I mean, as Francesca said today, there is different sizes of tigers, obviously, and this is my main Achilles heel, has been all my life. I always felt a kind of a lack of money, even though it wasn't really the case. I mean, my dad had a good job and stuff, but there was 5 of us, one of 5, and it was when Ireland was
in the 80s.
In the 80s, we were not very rich country at all. So it was pretty much everyone was kind of in the same boat. Obviously, there was the odd kid in school, there was the rich kid or whatever. But I didn't really feel like, oh God, we're such pavos. I didn't think that. But I never.
Because your mum and dad were very, very clever.
No, very clever, and they grew their own, potatoes and crops and stuff out the back and stuff. And my mum was very frugal, and she was very clever about what to do, and she cooked obviously for us and got all that stuff. So, but
you were very. Just because your parents were so good at birthdays and Christmases and everything, so you never felt...
No, absolutely. No, they did spectacularly in terms of birthdays and Christmases, I have to say. They never, dropped the ball with that one. So...
they always put everyone else first.
Yeah, they did. And so much so, when we moved to our new home later, it's like, their room was the last room to be done up. Like, it was always, they did everything else first. So, I appreciate that, obviously. But... So yeah, so basically it's a big Achilles heel, and I just decided today I'm going to sledgehammer it, and just that's enough with that. Carry on, because it's never really come to. Also, when you go into that kind of fight or flight, as I said before, you get literally lobotomized, so you can't think straight. So you see things in a distorted way, obviously first. But you can't actually think straight in terms of what...
You can't think of any solutions. You're just like...
So people say, so I should bury my head in the sand. No, burying your sand is staying in the fear.
Burying your head is staying,
burying your head in the fear. And so you're literally... You can't, from a physiological point of view even, you can't actually think your way out of it. You can't actually... Or it's less even about thinking. It's just being still enough to be inspired. Because something we'll cover later is that no problem is ever presented without its solution.
Yes.
In it, they come together. There's always a solution. So if you're listening, you'll be inspired to sort it out. So that was.
But when you're in the center of the wraps or.
Yeah, but it takes that's the point, is that you become more immune to it. Like I got out of it very quickly. It wasn't like a whole day of being in a mood or worrying for days on end, or us not talking to each other, or. Not just kind of fine then, do what you want, because that's just silence. One thing I've learned is it's either violence or silence. So it's violence, not physically in this situation, of course, but, vocally, or silence where you go, fine, have your way, and then you just resent the other person because they had their way and you're still begrudgingly going along with it. So I realised when I was sitting in the garden, silence or violence doesn't work. I opened the door to the tiger, so I'm sorry about that. But we're all human, and I wanted to be open and honest that that's what happened. And also, it's not happening now. So you have this thing, I think Eckhart Tolle calls it an anxiety gap, which basically, because you separated your mind off into the future, but you're not there yourself to actually take care of the thing. So you have anxiety because you've pitched yourself into a nightmare ghost castle situation. and you're not there to actually protect yourself or do anything about it. So it's unwinnable. You put yourself in an unwinnable situation. So that's what I got out of it. So I encourage you to do the same. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's unreasonable if you're going to like, and it's contagious, obviously, because Francesca wasn't feeling good as well. So
I was like my throat was just like, and here.
Yeah.
And I
so
just
it's just instantly transferable. It's like bunk like this, and so that's what's happening in the grand scale of things on this planet now. We just witnessed, just before we started recording, an actual example of someone who obviously loves his daughter.
Who'd
kill
or
die for his daughter, no question.
But yet he is, not at work, getting to spend precious time with her, and taking the dog for a walk in just such beautiful setting, and not feeling love, feeling kind of like, come on, hurry up, Jesus.
Maybe it's on his to-do list and he wants to get it out of the way, and he's thinking about his worries in work, or something that he...
Or someone being mean to him.
Someone being mean to him today, or someone being mean to him in the past. And he thinks, well, I'm a good dad, I don't do the same things that my parents did, but in her moment of need, he wasn't there for her. He basically said...
He got cross
with her for being... not
age 3 and trying to catch up with an adult walking really fast
with the dog
on uneven ground, like.
So it's tunnel vision. It's like you're a little insane in that moment, because all you have is just your goal in mind, like get off the list, spend some time with your daughter, or get the walk done, get the dog walked, that kind of thing, and you're not actually present. You're just living for that thing to tick it off, and then as soon as you tick it off,
you feel a relief, but the relief is because of the weight that you're putting on, the pressure you're putting on all these points. And when we do that, then it's like the desire thing, which we won't go into too much now, but when you get what you want, it's the feeling of the pressure and the stress of desire being alleviated that then makes you feel good, which I know sounds crazy. But
yeah, it's actually
true.
Yeah, well, we've investigated this in a lot of detail. It's not actually...
It's just so interesting. Desire was such an interesting thing that we were like, okay, let's really kind of jump into this.
For survival, obviously, in the past, we needed a certain amount of physiological desires.
Of course.
In order to procreate, in order to make sure we don't die of thirst,
things,
to make sure we don't die of hunger, and all that, and venture forward.
It's a kind of unwanted desire, just this kind of, gimme, which of course is fueled by consumerism in the world that we're living in now, and it's very
It's also a distraction that numbs the pain of anxiety.
And you feel more in control.
Yeah, in control of your
life.
Desire
something and you're getting it,
But they're not tied. Like getting the thing and the buzz, because it's actually like more or less a 90-second buzz physiologically in your brain. That just wanes, because obviously if it didn't, you'd just be like, oh, I'll never buy anything again. And you
I'm
do.
Good now.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't need to have another
it's
watch
actually relief
or another car.
From the irritation of desire.
Yeah.
That you feel. You feel
desire is an irritation.
You feel the buzz. It is actually an irritation if you dig down. We'll talk about this in more detail another time, because it's actually quite a lengthy discussion. So
anyway, that was connected. Let's like back on the branch to get us there. Was